Hi, this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. This is another video to go in the before and after playlist because it comes into that category, but I'm doing this one a bit differently. Primarily these videos are for new people to the channel because many videos were left behind on my dormant channel, therefore are not available for viewing on this channel. And this one was the first full update of the garden after I'd moved in. So this is basically this time of year 2 years ago in 2022. I moved in mid-December 2021. So I hadn't been here long, I hadn't seen what the garden was going to contain, things were just about coming into growth, and I was assessing what I might need to do in the garden. But it's a combined video in as much as it looks around the garden itself and the bonsai that I had at that time as they were some coming into leaf. So it's a general look round. And I thought it would be a good benchmark for this playlist to actually show what this garden was like 2 years ago before the work started. And then as it's a before and after, the different bit that I'm going to do, the after, is not going to be on this video. It will be, I've forgotten what they're called now, an end screen. More coffee. Yes, it'll be an end screen. So the latest update that I did, full garden update, is not that old. It's within weeks. So again, sort of this time of year, but this year, 2024, that will be an end screen at the end of the video that you can click on, which will take you from where we were 2 years ago to where we are now. So it does become a before and after, but slightly different. Okay, again, hope you enjoy it. For new people, it gives you a feeling of what the garden was like when I started, before all the heavy work got done. And for people who've been with the channel and were with the dormant channel as it came forward, perhaps a reminder of what the garden was like when I started. I hope you enjoy it. See you next time. Okay, before I fall asleep in the chair, I thought we'd have a look around the garden. It's a quiet evening, apart from the birds singing. Oh, we have mosquitoes. Wonderful. That will teach me to have a bird bath, won't it? Stuff's coming out. If you remember, this was a bare bush last time I filmed it, with little pink blossoms on. And then we've got these. I'm not that happy with this bit. It's sort of plonked, you know, like we'll have some of that, we'll have another one of them, and then we'll have another one, and then we'll put something different in. I might do something different there. We've got all my tubs here. These have got plants growing out of them that shouldn't be in there. These should be empty, really. This is just weeds that got a hold. Apart from this one, this is my rosemary, which is in full bloom at the moment. So, yeah, this lot's all going to come back. This is all going to go back eventually. Now the wisteria is not showing any... I was just going to say is not showing any signs of life yet. But yes, it is. We do have green. So it is alive, despite looking like a load of dead sticks. And it's going to come back into life. once it starts, it will burst. Strictly speaking, I ought to get this greenery, this evergreen, cut back prior to the wisteria starting to shoot out, or I'm going to get in a muddle. I don't quite know why you have to make that noise all the time, you seagulls. Anyway, these in this tub are foxgloves, and they're still alive, so I think we should get some blooms on those. They're strange foxgloves because the native foxgloves are biennials. They seed in year 1, grow in year 2 and bloom in year 3, something like that. But these have been in this tub for 10 years now, and they just keep coming up. So either it's seedlings that get a hold and perpetuate, or I'm not sure. Anyway, this little cyclamen is looking absolutely marvellous. It looks plastic, but it's actually a real plant. I shall have to do something with that, because that will just frazzle in the summer if it's not looked after. I moved the bench from there. I only put the bench there to put my RO unit on, because that's where the tap is. But I put a chair there for the RO unit so that I could move the bench here, because it was the only place suitable to actually hold that Dishoujo bonsai, which I can now see from in the grow room, which I like. Now, these frames here, this is not going to stay there, and this conifer needs to get out in the sunshine, so that's going to have to go out of the way. I just moved it there temporarily. The birds are using the bird bath, not as a bath, but they drink out of it all the time, so that's going well. This lot needs a good sort out. I'm going to pull out most of that ivy. We've got dandelions in here, which have now seeded, so they'll be all over the place for the next 10 years. That looks like a rose that's coming on, so that's come up through there. But I want this ivy out the way to see what's in there, basically, and give me somewhere to possibly to plant a few things. This is my hardy orchid, which is not doing... Oh, I was just going to say it's not doing anything. It is. That's the first leaf to show. This should start to grow soon. This was the Fuji cherry that I filmed in bloom, and if you remember when I filmed that, there were no leaves at all. Now look at it. That's in full leaf. My other bonsai here. This repair, if you remember, that snapped when I was messing about with it. That's worked. These leaves are strong, so the mend has taken. So that's good. So that bonsai's okay now. This little one that I did starting from scratch is shooting out all over the place. Now that'll have to get pinched back as these extend. They'll have to get pinched back so that it backbuds and becomes more dense. That's the theory with that one. This one's coming into leaf now. Both of these maples were chosen because of their bark. Now this one has very ridged bark. It's not developed yet. These are still relatively young trees. And this one has coloured bark. Yeah, green showing through. So that's unusual. So that's why they were chosen rather than for their leaves. And I moved this one here. I will probably put that one there, but I can't do it yet because my lovely maple's in the way. Now that's my maple growing in a tub. It's a beautiful plant and it can't stay there. I want that in the shade. So that is probably going to get moved into this corner here. As long as I can still see from my workbench through to the feeder. That's a must. We've got to maintain that. But that's a lovely maple, and it managed to get brought from the other house to here, despite it being a large tree. These are hebes, or that is two types of hebes there, or one that's reverting back from variegated to non. It could be one single bush, I don't know. That's a box which has been trimmed to look like a box. I really don't like that at all. I don't like sawn off stuff. It just doesn't do much for me, I must admit. Now that is a fuchsia in that giant tub. That's not mine, that was already here. So that'll have nice blooms on. That's still alive, obviously. There's more than one thing in there. Looks like somebody stuck a pruning in. Noisy tykes. So there's something else growing in here that I don't really know much about. This is ash. Now I didn't notice this because it's just a stick, but it's the only tree in this country that has black buds. So that's an ash tree. So we'll have to watch that because there's a lot of ash dieback. It's a disease that's killing a lot of our ash trees. This is camellia, and this is brilliant to grow in this country because you can virtually guarantee as the blooms open you get a sharp frost and they all go brown and fall off. But luckily some of them weren't open. So we're still going to get some nice blooms. Nice white camellia, that one, evergreen. Spiky bush, that'll have to be kept under control. And as me saying about the wisteria not showing any signs of life, well that one is. Look at those buds. And quite honestly, those look like blooms to me. Those don't look like leaves. So maybe we're going to have some early wisteria blooms. That'll be fantastic. That'll be good. This I'm going to have to go careful with. I'm going to have to poke my head inside very carefully. I want to cut this right down. This is just a laurel. It's nothing special. And it's bulky, it's big, it's ridiculous. And look at it. It's going to be another 2 foot bigger soon. So I want that cut right back. The problem is, I've got a horrible feeling that my pair of blackbirds are nesting in there quietly. The female may actually be sitting on some eggs now. Who knows? And then up here we've got another one which I can do without. And I'm not quite sure what that shrub is, but that could be a buddleia. And there again it might not be. We'll have to wait and see. But again, the wisteria up here it's entangled all over the place. Now the bamboo I'm just going to keep as is, apart from bits that stick up like that. They'll get trimmed off with my extra long weapon that I bought. This is going to get put in the shed because I really don't like looking at that, and the amount of times I would use it to dry washing is minimal, quite honestly. So my other 2 bonsai that are down here is my hawthorn. That needs putting somewhere where it doesn't get so much sun because it doesn't do it any good. My pine can take as much sun as it can get, and this is probably going to get repotted. It should be. We wired some of this last year to get some shape into it. I didn't wire the top, I left it. But the candles are not quite pushing yet, so coming soon. And then tucked away in there is a maple, which I've only recently noticed because it's just come into leaf. Now when I start pruning, I will cut away everything around that that's not maple, leaving the maple, so that it becomes more of a feature. It's just tangled up with other stuff at the moment. This monstrosity here is going to come down. I've got the tools to get at these high bits, you know. I mean, I don't have to get right up to the top. I cut them down here. So that's going to come down, so that it'll become a better shape. If you look very carefully through that hedge, even with me in the garden, the cheeky monkey's still around. He's a lovely cat though, I got, you know. I wouldn't wish him any harm. I'm sure when my cats get out here, there'll be a few tussles. this area here gets evening sun. It would be quite a nice place to sit out and have a glass of wine on summer evenings. That's yet to come, and to do that I need to start using this door. Now yesterday I used it. I had to get some things out of the shed, and basically I moved the shelving that's in front of the door. That just slides on those little trays, you know, that I use to catch the drips on my pots. All of the shelving in there, because they've got, you know, quite things that would mark the flooring. I put all the bases on stem on those trays, and so that shelving there just slides out of the way, and I managed to open the door and close it again okay without too much difficulty. So if ever I really need to, you know, when I start thinking about getting all the stuff from the shed onto my shelves, my new shelves which I put together today, I'll start using that door. And once I start using that door on a regular basis, then the cats can come in and out, and they'll adopt this garden quite nicely. So yeah, so there we go. There's some things to move around and some heavy duty pruning to do, especially here. This is a type of laurel, but it's not the same laurel as this, and it looks to me like it's about to come into flower, so we'll allow it to do that, and then we'll take it back to the fence and reduce it. It's starting to shoot out already. If I cut that back to the boundary, it's going to shoot out and it'll thicken up, you know, which as far as the birds are concerned makes a better nesting place, because at the moment it's too open. You know, the birds are not going to nest in that. It's too much openness. That's where all the noise is coming from. Herring gulls. Noisy, aggressive, just not very nice really. Got no time for them at all. And oh, you won't be able to see that. That's chaffinch twittering away. The other thing was today, for the first time in a couple of weeks, the nuthatch was back on the feeder, so that was good. So I've got regular visitors on the feeder now. So anyway, quick look round the back. As I said, it's not how I want it yet, but it's not going to take a huge amount of work to actually get it how I want it. And one of the important things will be this access, because I don't want to keep walking around the house all the time to get just pop round here. Anyway, yeah, just a look round. We haven't done it. It's worth looking at that oak tree now, because that's coming into leaf quite heavy. Once they start, they get going pretty quickly, and that's going to change the way the sun hits the grow room in the mornings. At the moment, I'm still okay. We've got that gap there between that apex and the tree, and at the moment, as the sun goes across there, it's just catching the edge of the roof. Now obviously it's going to get higher in the sky. It's only April, yeah, so it is going to catch the roof, but only for a relatively short period. Unfortunately, that happens to be the middle of the day. We might have to do a bit of work on that. We shall see. Anyway, my back garden is going to become more important than it was at the other house, because I can see it from not only sitting at my workstation, but also while I'm dealing with my orchids. So we will be looking after the back garden a lot better than we did at the other house. So there we go. Yeah, just a quick look round. Now I shall go and finish my glass of wine and fall asleep in front of some boring rubbish programme on the TV, which is what we get. We don't get much else, do we? See you next time.